No one is checking your brand tags, no one, but people are seeing how you're dressing.
In professional or high networking environments, especially the environment you are into, and for all those who are either stepping into this or are into this, so how do you think luxury styling influences how people treat you?
Who are you talking to? Who's your audience? And dress up if you want them to take you seriously.
What are those golden tips of advices that you'll give through your own experiences?
You don't need to have a Gucci belt. But also, don't go and buy a first copy.
I mean, any idea on the bags? I know you love bags. I can see that. Any advice on the fragrances? What happens is sometimes people overdo it.
Make sure it's focused on your pressure points, your pulse points. The here, 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 here. Do not spray here and here. Why? Because there are sweat glands here.
Since you have studied luxury brand management in Milan, would you like to share some psychology behind it?
There is no set psychology behind why people do luxury buying. So I think a big part of buying luxury is, I would say, self-indulgence and self-esteem.
Welcome to India's first ever podcast dedicated to image consulting, style psychology, and power of first impression. I'm your host Ruchi Raj, and in this space we don't just speak fashion, we explore identity, presence, and power of intentional dressing. In today's episode, we are decoding luxury styling, not as a price tag, as a powerful expression of self-worth and refinement. If you're wondering where to begin your styling journey in a way that feels authentic and aligns with your true self, this episode is your starting point. To explore this further, we are joined by Ayushi Pal,
Hello.
an alumni of NIF Delhi with a specialization in luxury brand management from Milan, with experience at precious labels like Tod's and Roger Vivier. She brings in deep insight into how style and psychology blends in the world of luxury. We'll talk about what luxury styling really means, how to start your journey into the same, the mindset shift that leads to inner transformation, and actionable tips to elevate your style and step into the luxury styling with confidence and clarity. Hi Ayushi.
Hello.
You have built a strong career in fashion, luxury, and now into global luxury real estate in Dubai.
Yes.
Could you please take us back to your journey from where it all began, when you stepped into the world of luxury? Just a brief where we could understand what was it that brought you into this.
First of all, Ruchi, we go back a long way as well. I studied with you. So I think you've seen me grow from an awkward, adult into a more polished adult, I guess. The journey started when I was about 15 or 16 years old. I come from a military background, and we annually hold something called the May Queen Ball. Okay. And growing up, I used to attend these May Queen balls, and I used to see young girls, go up there and look really nice in designer clothes. And I used to think I really wanna be up there one day, And then when I was 16 years old, I was like, yeah, this is my time. I'm gonna be the next Priyanka Chopra. And I was like, I wanna go up and make. And Priyanka Chopra, by the way, started her journey with May Queen Ball. So I went up there, and that was actually the first impetus to my journey in fashion, you can say, not luxury per se. Luxury started, I would say, the shift towards luxury started when I was in Paris working for Roger Vivier. It's a French brand that, by the way, Roger Vivier is the designer who designed the coronation pumps for Queen Elizabeth II.
Oh, wow.
So that it's a very historical brand, and I was part of their first press release in 2021. So that's where the journey started, and I started looking into the world of luxury. And from there on, I kind of had that, want or desire to fit in. But obviously, when you're working in a fashion brand, you just started your career, you can't really afford those brands. So then I started dressing the part or looking the part rather than actually buying those products especially. But then, of course, when I moved to Dubai and I started working in real estate, it became even more pronounced because how you dress really matters when you are selling a very high ticket price product. The more well dressed you are, the more well presented you are, the more the customer trusts you when you're selling real estate. It gives the idea that you're doing well and you know what you're talking about. So that's where the whole journey started, and it's still ongoing. I've just started on the journey.
I would say beautifully going. You look gorgeous. and let me tell you, even at NIFT when we studied, I believe you stood out with your style and fashion. And definitely, the factor that you were speaking about, that you wanted to, become like one of those ladies in the ball. So you always stood out that way, I must say. I mean, I know it's always an evolution that goes on. It's an exploration that goes on. But I think that inbuilt thought that you had in mind, it definitely reflected in your presence, even if you were too young in college. So that's something which you can take from me very confidently and very honestly. So no, thanks for sharing your journey. And I believe this is something which we all need to understand, especially those who are willing to step into, the journey of luxury. Why? Because that's what we'll talk about more. That it's just not the brands. It's just not that you're wearing something. It's an entire mindset shift that happens. And rightly, as you mentioned, that you have to dress the part if you have to like really sell to that worth. So the first impression matters a lot, we all know. So we'll talk about all those, and I believe that is something which will unfold today, everything behind it, because we have Ayushi with us, who's not only working into it but has also studied it. So of course she knows the nicks and knacks, and we are gonna get her advice and I would say her expertise into this, and we'll unfold each and everything one by one. Since you have studied luxury brand management in Milan, would you like to share some psychology behind it? In a way, that what really happens in our minds, right? What goes on in the mind behind our physical appearance when we wear something that belongs to the luxury segment? Is it a feeling of reward? Is it a feeling of achievement? Or is it a feeling of belonging? How does it all happen? Like, what's the psychology going behind it?
I think how you feel when you buy a luxury product has a lot to do with the intention behind the purchase. Sometimes you get a big salary come in and you want to go and splurge and you buy a very expensive dress, and it's not because you feel a sense of confidence or anything. You just want to reward yourself, like you mentioned. Sometimes you have a party to go to or a big event to go to, and you need to really blend in. So you actually go out and shell out a bit more money than you usually would to buy something to fit the part. So that's something that comes from a sense of confidence or fitting in. And then sometimes you're feeling a bit sad and
low.
You need a little bit of that, retail therapy. So you go out and you just buy something, and that's a sense of, self, just treating yourself, self-indulgence, I would say. So I think when you go and make the purchase, that dictates a lot as to what made you go in the first place. And that's what the luxury product kicks into you. Sometimes when you're crossing a luxury store and you walk in, okay, it's not going to be in my budget, but you still walk in because you want to get a feel of the brand. You want to just see what it's all about, what's the hype all about. And once you go in, it may raise a certain wish or a little desire in you, like, okay, one day, you know what, I'm going to come in. And sometimes luxury buying can also be a bit spiteful. It can be a bit of a revenge, because you may walk into a store and not be treated properly because of how you look and how you dress. And then when you finally have the pocket to go in and buy it, you might come in and you'll be like, you know what, I'm back here, I'm going to buy something and I'm going to show them. So that's again another you can say reason to go in. So there is no set psychology behind why people do luxury buying. But more or less, I have found that for myself, for example, we do luxury buying. Number one, it gives us a sense of self-worth.
Yeah.
And we it's called the halo effect. We halo out how we feel about ourselves onto our belongings, onto our friends, onto our family. So everything that's in our inner circle, we tend to halo out our own self-image and self-worth onto that. So the more higher priced it is, the better we feel about ourselves, the better we project ourselves. So I think a big part of buying luxury is, I would say, self-indulgence and self-esteem.
Yeah, which is very deep in a way if you think about it. I think it's very deep because sometimes I would especially want to pick that point which you mentioned, that when you step into it, maybe you're not dressed the part, maybe at that time you're not able to afford it, then that reflects right in your personality, and then that feeling of that I'm gonna get it, I think that also ends up in some achievement, right? Even that feeling of I have to do it.
Yeah.
That is also a sense of reward that you get at the
Absolutely.
end, right? And then this is one point which I think maybe I would like to confirm with you, that after that, like, just imagine, like, we are some years down the line when we are able to afford that luxury and we are stepping into the store. At that time, even if we are not dressed the part, but the confidence that we have just reflects in who we are.
Absolutely.
And even if our clothes don't speak at that time, because maybe all the times we are not dressed
exactly,
like polished and always poised. So I think this psychology shift and this confidence is something that's a beautiful addition.
Absolutely.
When you get at the end, right? So yeah, it's just beautiful to understand that how it's not just a vanity. It's an empowerment that you get.
That's the impression. Like, people think it's very like superficial and materialistic, and people are trying to show off, or people are just trying to the pufferfish syndrome, like you're actually this small but you want to show yourself as this big. People think it's something of that sort, but it's really not. Sometimes it's just about rewarding yourself, feeling better about yourself. And of course, like, in my family we say jitna gud daloge utna meetha hoga.
Exactly.
So the more sugar you have in your pantry, the more you tend to put in your desserts. So why not, if you can afford it? But of course, there are some people who tend to take out loans to buy something. Now that is wrong. That is the pufferfish syndrome. Like, you really need to keep a check on who you are, what are your limitations, stay within those limitations. Of course, I'm sure we'll talk about that.
And how are we going to step into it, and how to wisely spend the money.
That is very important.
Efficiently. We'll talk about it, because I would not miss that opportunity to help the audience take that wisdom from you. So okay, so I think we covered this, which I wanted to like really talk about, that the emotional triggers, or you can say the psychological rewards we experience when we buy. So at Poised Presence especially, we always speak about dopamine dressing, because this is something which I really want to focus more and more of, how you can infuse those dopamine elements in your wardrobe, because somewhere we feel that dressing is very understated, or I would say underestimated tool. But if you use it in the right way, your style, your presence, I think it works wonders for all the phases of your life. So I would like to just maybe touch upon a bit on how luxury purchases give us that dopamine rush, because they trigger the feeling of reward, achievement, and self-worth, as we talked about. So that might lead to, so I follow this fashion psychologist, Shakaila. She's amazing. She's doing great in the fashion psychology. So she speaks this about especially the psychology of luxury, is that it triggers the anticipation and the desire. Like, owning something exclusively high-end activates the brain's reward system, which kind of releases that dopamine, right? Which makes us feel happy. So, as you said, that it's not just vanity or showing off, it's something that we are feeling good from within, right? And then, of course, the social validation is a big point, because we as humans, I believe, we always want to belong to a certain community, right?
Correct.
So I think if you help us understand that part, like you're working with the luxury real estate right now. So how does this this journey is now helping you into the, the belongingness, or, that you belong there. You are speaking, you own that space. So could you just share that how this dopamine thing impacts even the career you are into?
I think dopamine, feeling good about yourself, feeling confident, these don't just impact someone who's working in the luxury real estate or any sector. It affects everyone.
Yeah.
Even if you're a college student and you want to go to college, right? But if you're not feeling good about yourself that day is not going to be a good day.
Yeah.
So it's so important. Your day starts with how you feel about yourself. Okay. A lot of people think wearing nice clothes means I'll feel confident. No. Wearing something that is nice is just one part, but feeling good from within is very, very important.
And that resonates with you.
Absolutely.
That's a part of your personality.
Correct. So people tend to miss basic things like personal hygiene, wearing the right underwear, Lingerie is one of the most important things about dressing. Even for men, underwear. Nice socks. Like I see so many men wear like torn up socks, and then when they go to a place and they have to take off their shoes, they're very, shaken up. They're embarrassed. So I feel like paying attention to every little detail on your outfit, on your body, on your skin, on your nails, your hair, it's so important because it sets the momentum for how your day is gonna go, how you're gonna feel about yourself the rest of the day. And in my line of work especially, I rub shoulders with, really well-to-do people.
Yeah.
My clients are mostly people who are running very successful businesses, or they are working in a very high-ranking profiles. For example, one of my clients, he is the head of PepsiCo for Middle East and Northern Africa. So if I go in front of him with an unwashed hair, unbrushed hair, unwashed face, just wearing a nice Gucci dress, it's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it because he's going to look at me like, oh, she's so shabby. And that's number one. Number two, I won't feel good about myself.
Yeah.
Whenever you see someone who is shining better than you, your confidence automatically goes a bit dim.
That's an amazing point.
Yeah. So you have to dress your best. So that the chances of that happening are lower, because you don't know how the other person is going to show up, but you can control yourself. So a lot of times I do feel lazy and I don't wash my face. I wash my face, but I don't really do makeup. I just go to work like that. But those are days when I know for a fact I don't have a meeting, and I know for a fact that I'm not going to face a client. So those days I can afford to like not do my makeup and just go, and it doesn't affect my confidence in any way because I still take care of myself. So, I think dopamine dressing is one thing, but the key word is dopamine. If you don't have that hormone in your body circulating at a good rate, you're not going to feel happy, you're not going to feel confident, and you're not going to give your best at whatever you do, whether you're a student, whether you are working in Microsoft, whether you have a desk job. You must feel good about yourself to do your best. So that it's not just about feeling happy, it's also being productive.
Yes. Yeah, and I think it all starts from self-image. Like you
Absolutely.
said that. So, yeah, here's the answer. I mean, if you're feeling low, maybe if you're not feeling that productive, just get up, get dressed, look the part, feel the part, pump up your self-image.
Exactly.
With whatever you feel like. Dressing, of course, is a tool, but there could be many other. But
bright colors.
Yeah.
The day you feel low, or when it's raining outside and you're like, oh, I want to just sit at home and have tea and chill with my pets and watch some movies, that's the day you wear bright colors like yellow, red, blue, white, and you head out. It instantly gives you a boost. Colors are so important as well.
True. In image consulting, in our industry, we talk a lot about colors because colors are not just something visual. They have emotional connections, they have validations, they have perceptions, they are mood lifters. They do so much. I totally resonate with you. So, I think we should talk about color someday. Definitely. That would be an interesting topic too. So let's get back to this part of, again, one question that I had that okay, we all know that the way we dress, the way we look, actually, I mean, first impression is a science, right? The non-verbal cues that we give through our presence is like a is a game changer. As you said that, dressing up maybe little shabby can turn down an opportunity, right? Just
Yeah.
because of the visual cue. So in professional or high networking environments, especially the environment you are into, and for all those who are either stepping into this or are into this, so how do you think luxury styling influences how people treat you, or how people listen to you is rather the word. So what are those two words which you think that defines you when you with the luxury styling, especially into this high stake environments?
First is confidence, and second is affluence.
Okay.
So when I read this blog where there was a person and he said, I always travel business class.
Okay.
I always travel business class because if I don't travel business class, then I'm never going to meet business class people. Okay, it starts from there. You manifest it for yourself. It's very important how people look at you, how people perceive you, for them to be able to take you seriously. If, for example, you've invited me on a podcast about, dressing, but if I show up in my pajamas, you're not going to take me seriously. Your viewers are going to be like,
Yeah.
So what you're doing, where you're going, and who you're interacting with is very important when you're dressing up. You have to look the part. You don't have to go and buy Dior belt, bag, shoes, dress, skirt, hairband, and then be all, oh yes, now people will take me seriously. No. Buy a nice tailored blazer, buy nice tailored pants, buy a nice pair of shoes, and you can still look the part. No one is checking your brand tags, no one, but people are seeing how you're dressing. How is that suiting you? How is it complementing your body type? How is your hair done? How are your nails done? If you come with chipped fingernails and you're holding an iPad trying to show properties, no, it's not going to work, right? So
Such a small detail.
it's
but
very small details. So always, it's very important how people won't take you seriously if you're not dressed up. It does matter. People say it doesn't matter, it shouldn't matter. No one's really looking at you. You don't have a client facing role, or you're not going for networking events. But as you mentioned, if you go to a networking event, if you're in a client facing role, it is exceptionally important to dress the part. If you're a techie meeting Steve Jobs, and you're wearing like a flamboyant Dior dress, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Then you have to wear jeans, a nice t-shirt, maybe a nice pair of shoes like sneakers. That's going to work. But if you're meeting, I don't know, Anna Wintour from Vogue, and you dress up that way, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So
It's important to consider the social
correct.
considerations.
Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Who's your audience? And dress up. If you want them to take you seriously, dress the part, look the part for them to take you seriously.
Yeah, that's actually very right, because even like we all say that Mark Zuckerberg, he always dresses in like a t-shirt and a jeans, but when he goes to meet the president,
Exactly.
he is in the suit,
Yes.
he is in the tie. So that's how we say that there are three dimensions. So when we study psychology in the image consulting, so there's this point we say that we consider the three dimensions, of course the internal, the external, and the social.
Yeah.
So the social element is so important, especially when you are a person who has to face people.
Absolutely.
I believe the social consideration is, and all the examples that you mentioned, I think they really fit in well, that the social consideration is really important no
Yeah.
matter what is. But yeah, there's this fact that you can be dressed socially appropriate in your own style.
Exactly.
And that's where you need to know the personal style, and
Exactly.
what you are actually from within.
Absolutely.
So it can align. So I think yeah, that was really helpful in a way, explaining that how dressing is important, not just for yourself, but for also the business that you're doing.
Absolutely.
The bread and butter that you have for.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think thank you for sharing those examples. They were really great because they hit on the points directly.
Yeah.
Especially I like the chipped nails example, because that is so common.
It is very common.
It
yes.
is very common, and I have also noticed a couple of times that even guys, they have these like the dirt inside the nails.
Yeah.
It's subconscious. I'm not saying that they do it intentionally, but these are like small details which takes your attention
Absolutely.
when you're there. So yeah, I so much agree with you there. Okay, so I think we talked a lot about the psychology and the mindset and how it impacts. Now let's jump into Ayushi's journey and her, some questions which directly address her personal choices, her stepping into the journey. So my first question, and I'm very excited to know, is what were the when you were stepping into the journey, and as you said that you were always interested into this, and so I'm sure you were I would say much more informed than the average group because you were always interested into it since your childhood. But still, what were the initial challenges when you were stepping into the journey? What were those questions that came to your mind? The challenges as in what to select, what not to select, and then how did you overcome those? How did this entire journey look like if we talk about the challenges?
I think a big part of refining my choices was through my mother.
Oh wow.
So I'm a magpie. I have a very magpie kind of personality. Anything that sparkles, I want it. So I tend to go and be like, sparkly, let's get it.
Yeah.
That's a girl thing. So I think a big part of reducing that compunction came from my mother because she has a very subtle, demure style of fashion.
Your mother is gorgeous.
Thank you.
She doesn't look like her mother. She looks like her elder sister. I can say that.
Yeah, I mean, yes, she does. So she has a very demure, subtle style of fashion, and that's kind of now seeped into my aesthetics as well. I'm also into very minimal clothing with maybe sometimes an accent here or an accent there. Like, my style of fashion is more like there would be something edgy about it, but overall, if you look at it, it's not
Balanced.
something that just, oh my God, look, it's just that, right? So this came from obviously lots of hits and misses. So initially, I used to go to a shop, and you know how you have different categories of consumers. You have like a red consumer, you have a blue consumer, you have a green consumer. So a red consumer is someone who knows what she wants. She doesn't want to really look left, right, and center. She just goes in, picks that one thing up, and walks out, And then there are green customers who will just float around endlessly and probably end up buying nothing. And then there are these middle sector of customers, blue customers, who will come, they want to see as many options and then pick one. I'm a red consumer. My mother is a blue or a green. So she needs someone who is going to show her like this color, this shape, that shape, everything. And I'm more like, I know what I want. And so this is very good for salespeople because they don't have to sell anything to me. But it's not good for me because sometimes I come in, I see a mannequin, I buy everything on the mannequin. Then I go home and I see, oh, it's not looking good on me. This is not my style. So thanks to return and exchange policies, I've been able
they are the saviors.
Go back and exchange them or return them. But of course, now with time, I now know what silhouettes look good on me, look good on my skin. Sometimes I still get it wrong. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I see someone wearing something and I'm like, oh, I'm sure this is going to look great on me. And then I end up looking like a ghoul. But
style is a journey.
But exactly. You evolve, you adapt, and you make mistakes along the way. But I would give a lot of credit to my sense of dressing to my mother, for sure. She still guides me a lot. Like if I wear something that's a little bit over the top, she comes down, she tones it down, and she's like, okay, now you look good. Sometimes I get a bit blinded by sparkles.
Yeah, that's how I think the alignment of the personal style with your understanding is important. Style is architecture. It's all about balance and proportions.
Yeah.
So I think no matter which personality, what you like, there's always a way to achieve that balance in your presence. And once you're having that, no matter you're creative, no matter you're blingy, no matter you are subtle, but if you're balanced, the persona in itself has its impact. So yeah, amazing. I think sometimes the old wisdom is really valuable. As you said, your mother, definitely. And I can see that definitely in your style. Like it's so subtle, still standing out.
Yeah.
And with those little elements of detailings that you have with your belt and your, like beautiful earrings. So that's how, like, it entirely looks
Yeah.
balanced and yet very impactful. Something that I think we would take from you as a guide, I would say, as a guiding stick. So when so for someone new to luxury styling, where should we begin the journey? Where should they begin the journey if they are starting into it? They, and luxury is sometimes not just a desire, it's sometimes a need of the hour, right? And once you reach that state, you need to now like step up the game. So over there, people who are into that, how do you think they can, where should they begin if they don't want to like splurge the money immediately into like just going and buying the brand? So what are those like golden tips of advices that you'll give through your own experiences? What are those 3-4 intentional steps, like, you would suggest someone to take? Okay, you're starting this, maybe you can start with this bag or a belt or a glass, whatever. Like, so this is something which we would love to know.
Start with Zara and Massimo Dutti. Massimo Dutti has a very elevated fashion sense, very minimal,
Basics.
very basic. The thing is that at the end of the day, you can buy the simplest white dress and still kind of elevate it by an accessory. So you don't have to essentially splurge on clothes. But if you want to, you can. There are some statement clothes, but for your regular, like you said, you're just entering. For me, I started with Zara. I would go to Zara, I would buy like really nicely tailored blazers and pants. The jeans can come from Levi's. You don't have to go and splurge on expensive things. You could buy Steve Madden, Nine West. Nine West footwear is very, very comfortable, and they are very, they look very good. Sometimes you can get Tom Ford lookalikes from Nine West. For example, I saw these pair of shoes in Tom Ford and I couldn't afford Tom Ford. So I went and bought the same lookalike shoes from Nine West.
And they're comfortable too.
And they're super comfortable. You can go, like, I still wear Nine West to work. I don't wear fancy shoes to work because I have to go to the construction site sometimes. I have to take the client around sometimes. So I cannot be wearing my expensive shoes and ruin them. Unless it's a very, very important client, I do not wear my exclusive shoes. Those are for parties, going out, brunches, etc. So for work, do not overspend. You don't need to go and buy a Gucci t-shirt. You don't need to go and buy an off-white t-shirt or an Amiri t-shirt. You can go and buy a nice Zara t-shirt which flatters your body and pair that with a nice pair of jeans or chinos if you're a man. If you're a woman, you can pair that actually with shorts and accessorize it. For accessories, if you don't have the budget to go for a statement belt from Gucci or Louis Vuitton, you can go for something which doesn't have branding on it. One of the Indian brands. There are a lot of Indian brands.
The homegrown brands are doing
amazing.
Artistic pieces.
I love Napa Dori as well.
Yeah.
Napa Dori does really nice accessories. So you could still go for something that doesn't have branding. So you still have that one statement piece, but you're not essentially overspending on that.
Yeah.
So I understand, like, if I come in on your podcast and say you should have a Gucci belt in your wardrobe, a lot of people are going to be like, bro, I don't have 70K to spend, today. You don't need to have a Gucci belt. You really don't. But also don't go and buy a first copy belt because it might not show in the first 1 month of wearing it, but slowly and surely the wear and tear will give away the fact that you're not wearing an original brand, and that's worse than wearing something that's not branded.
Yeah, metal belts are a good idea.
Metal belts are really good because they don't have any wear and tear or any branding. You could go for Michael Kors. Michael Kors does really nice women's belts.
Pretty good these days.
Yeah. So Coach as well. So I think start small and slowly work your way up as you identify what works for you and invest in timeless pieces rather than buying something that's today it's trendy, because those are in line with what Y feels today and X feels tomorrow. But buy something like a Gucci belt which is a statement piece. It's going to remain a statement piece forever.
Forever.
And it's going to look so nice. You can buy the Gucci monogram. If you want me to talk about luxury
Even the brooches,
brands.
I believe that's...
The Chanel brooches. But then again, brooch goes with something formal. You can't wear that with a casual. But if you want to tie in a casual look together, you can easily wear like an oversized t-shirt, boy shorts. And then on top of that, if you wear a Gucci monogram belt, they have the reversible one. So you can actually change the color palette as per your clothes.
Wow.
So you can wear that and it really ties in the look together. So
yeah, and it can go with so many things like a dress.
Absolutely
shorts,
goes. So today I'm wearing a dress. This is a dress, but I'm still wearing it with a belt.
Yeah.
So you can always have belts. For me are like the best accessories to have. Even if you're not wearing jewelry, just wear a belt.
And I love the way you pull off the Sabyasachi traditional belts with your Western looks. And that's how I believe our conversation started.
Yeah.
When she was wearing something really Western, and with that she was pairing up the Sabyasachi belt, which was little traditional. And that was something which I complimented, that you can do it beautiful. And she was like, this is classic, anyone can do it. And I was like, anyone can do it with a traditional look, but not the way you're doing. So this is something special, and we should definitely have some wisdom from you. So yeah, here's the answer, that if you want to include that subtle luxury starting into the journey, go for versatile pieces, the basics, not especially from the luxury brands, but maybe picking up some accessories from there, like a belt, and that too the versatile ones. So I would like to really focus on this point of invest, because these days people get swayed about by the trends that's coming in. Okay, the fluorescent colors, like I don't know what, people are just going into this crazy thing of consumption. So really suggest as the basic versatile pieces for the luxury brands that people can invest in if they are starting for, because it's very important to get the right direction on those, I believe, to not get into the rut of the trends.
So if I focus wholly and solely on luxury brands, I think a Gucci monogram reversible belt for sure. It comes between, I believe, around 46,000 rupees. And then you can have bangles from Louis Vuitton or from Cartier or Van Cleef & Arpels. Now these are more expensive, so instead of buying directly from the brand, you could look at cheaper alternatives which look a little bit like that. You'll get those from Michael Kors or from Coach. And then I would say get like Swarovski rings. Those really look really nice on anything you're wearing. You
more
can
elegant,
buy exactly. For shoes, go for comfortable shoes. Don't buy Michael Kors shoes. Michael Kors shoes don't last very long, but they are quite expensive. So if you want to buy shoes, go for... I started my journey in shoes with Christian Louboutin, the red soles. Those are nice statement pieces. Get a Kate 35 mm, really nice. Not very comfortable, but really nice. So get a size bigger because they tend to be very snug on your feet.
Okay, that's a good insight.
Yeah.
And that's about the Kate you mentioned?
The Kate.
Okay.
Yeah. And what else? I think earrings.
The bags. I mean, any idea on the bags? I know you love bags. I can see that. So yeah, please.
The bags. Start with a nice tote from Louis Vuitton. That was my first luxury bag, I would say. It was the tote from Louis Vuitton. It's the Neverfull. It's around 1.75 lakhs, the starting price. Start from there and then see what styles you want and kind of go for those later. But start with that because that is a very versatile bag. You can carry your entire life in it and still never gets full, as its name suggests. It can take 80 kilos, so you can understand.
Wow.
It's my go-to. Like,
that's huge.
It takes 80 kgs and it doesn't break, so you can fit a dead body in there. So
that's a true versatile piece, I would say. That's
yeah, it's perfect. If you want to go to work, you can put your laptop, your iPad, your makeup, your a change of shoes. If you're going out later, you can carry a pair of clothes. It really does take in everything. So it's a really, really nice piece to have in your wardrobe. But if you don't want to spend so much money on a bag, go for a nice Michael Kors tote for work, or a small like envelope bag or a clutch. Sabyasachi does really nice clutches as well.
Oh, beautiful.
So you could probably get a Minaudier from Sabyasachi. So there's so many options out there, but at the end of the day, you have to go hold the piece in your hand, understand where you're going to wear it, and then take it. But make sure that you don't buy something that's going to be in fashion today and tomorrow and then it's done. Because when you're spending so much money, you want to make the most out of it. So I've heard, like, I read a saying somewhere that a poor man spends more money on a pair of shoes than a rich man does. What does that mean? A poor man will go and buy a 40 rupees slipper. A rich man will go and buy a 500 rupees slipper, for example. That 500 rupees slipper will probably last him 5 years, right? But the poor man who bought a 40 rupee slipper, he's gonna have to change it next month again, the next month again, and the next month again. How many months make 500 rupees for?
Yeah, true.
You know, in 8 months, he's made the corporate 500 rupees. That guy has spent 500 rupees for 5 years. So the poor man is spending more money than the rich man is on a good. So buy something nice that will last you longer. Quality over quantity, always. You don't have to go and buy every type of bag. Like, oh, let me buy this also, this also. No, buy one piece that suits you, the size of which will work for you in 90% of the scenarios. Rather than buying one for work, one for this, one for that. So I've got a big ugly bag for work, which I can't wear to a party. And then I've got one very blingy piece that I can't wear to work. And then I've got one piece that only works for brunches. That's not the way to do it. You're wasting money. You're wasting resources. So, like, I've got my little piece there. That's a bamboo Gucci. Now that one works for me day to night. I can carry this from here and then go into a party and it'll work just fine.
Yeah.
So buy pieces that are versatile and will stay in fashion. Tomorrow, if you want to give it to the kids won't be like, hey, what is this? I'm never going to wear it. I know for a fact I can pass this on to anyone, any age, and it'll work for them.
No matter which segment we are purchasing, luxury definitely, because a lot of cost goes inside it. But in general also, like, you know, when we are buying like these fads and the trends, we are not only wasting the money, but we are ending up so much to the landfill. And we studied that, right?
Absolutely.
How the fad influences our mind and things when we were in NIFT. So I believe this mindfulness is really important, not just to save your own money, but to also contribute 1 cent towards the planet.
Absolutely.
And towards you as a conscious citizen. So as a conscious human, I would rather say. So
absolutely.
There's this one concept that goes again, that we calculate the cost per wear, which is more about the example that you were mentioning. So for example, I bought like a 2000 footwear and I'm wearing it for 2 years or 3 years, and you divide it by the number of days, the cost per wear is going to be like really less. But if you buy something which is of maybe 200 and you're wearing it for like, I don't know, 10 times, it goes away, and then the cost per wear is like higher.
Exactly.
So that is something which we as consumers should definitely consider in every segment. Of course, in the luxury, but in our general, I believe the buying habits, we should try to inculcate these habits of being mindful about buying the timeless, the quality and the versatile pieces rather than the fads and the trends. So I think that's a very strong point. Thanks for sharing that, because I always vouch for this.
Yeah.
I always speak about this, and I'm like, I'm very soon like actually coming up with a course which just speaks about how to build your capsule wardrobe.
Yeah.
Because that's one way of at least stepping into and contributing towards a sustainable lifestyle. So yeah, that's a very strong point. We all know that we have some style personalities, right? The way we have our psychological personalities, similarly we have our style personalities. Like yours is very elegant and, you know, with a hint of femininity in it. So similarly, few people are very romantic, few people are very creative. Like I'm a person who's very, I would say very, you know, comfort comes prior to me. So it's like a comfort plus elegant side. I'm a mix of that. So, any advice on how to align the personality with your, with this journey into the, because as you said that, for example, we are going to buy a, like a glass, a luxury brand glass. So, any advice on how to be aware about the personality and then investing into it? Do you suggest hiring an image consultant and getting their advice?
I absolutely suggest getting an image consultant and taking their advice.
Yeah.
But also now, you know what, Ruchi, I also use ChatGPT a lot of times to kind of understand the color palette, because sometimes you buy a dress which looks really nice, but now you don't know how to accessorize it. This happened to me like a couple of days before. I was going to my cousin's wedding. I had a really nice dress with me, and I bought this Sabyasachi clutch. But when I was wearing it, it just looked very over the top. So I kind of went back to, ChatGPT, and I was like, now what do I do? This is a disaster. And ChatGPT kind of gave me some suggestions and some color palettes that I could work into my dress. That's a very, very powerful tool that you can use. Okay. But of course, if you have a human being there, she can probably guide you towards the exact pieces. ChatGPT kind of gives you a guidance, like this color, this kind of thing can work for you. So yes, that's a more generic. But of course, if you have a sense of fashion, you can kind of use that as a guidebook. But more importantly, how it aligns with your personality is, first of all, our personality guides us towards the product.
Yeah.
For example, you will never see me floating towards a floral dress. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Our brain is wired as per our personality, right? So,
And that reflects in our style.
exactly, the way we speak, the way we behave, the way we dress, it's a result of our personality. It's not the other way around. So when you are going towards a brand, you will automatically be attracted towards a brand that suits your personality. Like, you will never see me get attracted towards Dolce and Gabbana. It's just not my style.
It's loud.
Right? So you will never find me going there. Earlier, before, I wasn't even attracted to Gucci. It was too much for me. It was too much print and too much colors for me. You will not see me going into Louis Vuitton. So I think the question should be the other way around, because it's not the brand that manipulates your personality. It's your personality that manipulates your brain into picking a brand. And you will find that in your searches as well. You will never go searching for a brand that you don't resonate with.
Yeah. So it's also, I think, important to discover that style personality that you have.
Yeah.
To be aware about that.
Yeah.
So it's very...
That takes me back to the question you asked me earlier. That's a hit and miss.
Yeah.
That's your style evolution. So
And also, like, analyzing, maybe
Yes.
seeking professional help if needed.
Absolutely.
To understand that, because not all of us are great with the aesthetic sense.
Yes.
I mean, and that's very okay, because everyone is great at something. So
Exactly.
The thing is that if required, you're not able to help yourself with finding out what exactly you resonate with, what exactly your personality is, seeking a professional help is definitely something which is the best idea, because that's not just a fashion discovery. That's more like discovering yourself and your personality and how you want to show up to the world. So we, as image consultants, we help you do that, and we not only help you with what looks good, but we help you with how to align your inner self with your external
Absolutely.
self, and then be your authentic self. And the fashion that we do as per our personality, and you're very right, we are naturally dragged towards the personality we are in. So
I think an image consultant also can help change that, because sometimes you may think I look great in purple, but an image consultant such as yourself, you can guide that person and tell him, like, listen, I know you love purple, but maybe it's not your color. Maybe switch that to a pocket square,
or some accent piece,
or an accent piece, rather than buying a purple coat.
Yeah.
Because he will gravitate towards a purple coat. So that's where I think that human intervention is required, and I think that's where we also kind of know that what I'm wearing is not looking great. So I think that's where help.
The humans can actually read your emotions, look into your eyes,
Yeah.
see your insecurities.
Exactly.
But yeah, definitely, if you can't, of course, we have a lot on internet and chat gpt that can be helpful. So yeah, I think aligning the personality with the style is really important to feel the authenticity and feel yourself and give your best in whatever you're doing. I think it's very important to put your best foot forward in everything
Absolutely.
that we do. So like, for example, if I go in a body hugging dress and I sit somewhere, I mean, the whole time, the one thing I'm gonna be concerned about is like, I am not comfortable because I
Comfortable.
need air to breathe
Absolutely.
everywhere. So
Absolutely.
it's very important to align your whatever you're doing with your personality. I think I'll go with the rapid fire thing. That's fun. I hope you're
for it.
prepared.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool. Before that, I really wanted to just have this, like a snippet of, I would say, like a 10-second advice kind of. So say if someone wants to step into the luxury styling journey today, what's that one thing they should do today? Like, what's that first step of
Invest on good underwear
oh wow,
and fragrance.
that's beautiful. So
It's so important. It is so important because people really undermine the value of feeling good from within. Now, people don't talk about underwear because it's taboo.
yeah.
But it is so important. You can wear the nicest dress, but if you don't have the right underwear, the whole look can fall apart. If you don't have a nice fragrance, before people see you, my previous boss at work, he talked a lot of nonsense. But he said one thing that did resonate with me is before people see you, they smell you.
Yeah.
Smell reaches first. If you have a nice fragrance, you are bound to catch the attention of a person. He will look back. Even women look back.
And they'll remember you.
They remember that fragrance. When someone walks by you and they smell good, you're like, smells nice. Even if you haven't seen that person.
Yeah.
So you have an automatic assumption that if she smells like oud, she's probably from Middle East.
Yeah.
You see how big an impact it is. If they smell of a certain fragrance that you associate with a certain memory, it can really associate that person with that memory. Right?
Yeah.
So smell is so important. So investing on a nice fragrance and good underwear. I'm not saying go buy Victoria's Secret. Buy good underwear that suits you, that's not too big, not too loose. The straps shouldn't show through your clothes unless they're meant to. But invest in good fragrance, good underwear, and that will elevate a normal t-shirt. So
Yeah.
it's so important.
And your overall presence. Any advice on the fragrances? Anything like your favorites, or maybe just like a general advice on the fragrance stuff? What happens is sometimes people overdo it because no matter, it's very important we understand that it's one of the first impressions from the sensory point of view, but somehow this is also a fact that many people are allergic towards certain kind of smell. So what is that one step, or I would say that one mindful consideration we all should have while we are using fragrances? What is that right balance? Any advice on like how we should put it, what kind of fragrances we can go for, or maybe what is the right way of applying them so that it's not overpowering it? So
see, the overpowering comes from layering your perfumes.
Yeah.
I first put a fruity perfume, then I put a fresh perfume, or you're re-wearing a certain dress or a certain top, like we do at work. Sometimes we wear the same blazers 2 days in a row or 3 days in a row, and then we end up spraying on top of the previous spray, and that's when it gets overwhelming.
Okay.
So what you can do is, first of all, stop spraying on your clothes. Your clothes are not meant to be fragrant, your body is. Second thing, always wear a layer of lotion on your skin before you apply the perfume, because the oil in the lotion will hold on to the perfume for you. So you don't have to reapply again and again. All right. And third thing, when you apply a perfume, don't break it like this. Don't do that. If you really want to save on the quantity, maybe you sprayed too much, then just touch and that's it.
Dab.
Just dab. No brushing, because if you brush it, you break the perfume. The actual fragrance, they have 3 cores.
Yeah.
You are breaking the cores, right? That's not the point. The cores are what emanate and change during the day as per the chemistry of your skin. If you break it and you start sweating, the smell profile will be very different. And sometimes you'll end up smelling very fruity, like, you know how
Yeah.
sweat and fruit, they mix and they smell really rotten. So you don't want that.
Yeah.
You know, that khatta smell. You don't want that.
Yeah.
Right? For summers, a light fragrance, floral or a bit of musk is very nice. For nights, an oud base is very nice. During winters as well, you want a nice wood and oud flavor, whereas in summers you can only do musk or just a light rose and oud
Yeah.
base for women. I think in terms of names of perfume, I really, really love the Jasmine Noir by Bulgari for the evening.
Yeah.
It's a classic. Can't go wrong. For day, I like the Hermes perfumes like Jardin sous le Nil. So it means the garden on the Nile.
Oh, beautiful.
So it's a green colored bottle. It's really nice. That's one of my favorites. Then there is, for men, Chanel de Bleu.
Yeah.
You know, Chanel de Bleu is like, it's love. And then Terre d'Hermès.
And for all time? Like
All
that's-
you can wear during the day. For night, Terre d'Hermès. Terre d'Hermès has like a pepper note, black pepper notes in it with wood. It's really, really nice and it's very chic. It screams luxury. And if you don't have the budget for high-end perfumes, then you cannot go wrong with the Davidoff Cool Water
Okay, for men.
during the day. For men or women, both can apply Davidoff Cool Water during the day. And for the night, you have to invest in a good perfume. Maybe a YSL Opium is also very nice for night wear. So these could be some good options.
Thank you. I think that's really valuable, because when it comes to fragrances, I believe it's one of the challenges for people to like actually figure out what is their
Yeah,
fragrance. That's something.
But you know what? I don't buy perfumes just because I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Buy perfumes
But at least-
after you have tested them on your skin,
Yeah.
because what smells nice on me might not smell great on you, because our skin chemistry affects the way a perfume smells. And people always smell on testers. That's not a good idea, because on testers it will smell significantly different than how it will smell on your skin.
wow.
So before you
But
buy,
how's that? Acha, okay, you mean
because
the
your skin chemistry
yeah,
is
yeah.
what affects the smell. So always spray a little bit on your wrist, walk around, don't buy it immediately, walk around the mall, see if it lasts, because not all perfumes will last on your skin type, right? Some perfumes last longer on dry skin, some last longer on oily skin. So how do you know this? Always spray, leave it on for a couple of hours and see after that how it smells. If it retains the original smell that you smelled when it was first sprayed, then it's the one for you. If not, then it's not.
This is something very interesting and something strike to my mind. So I have Chanel and number 5.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's
all
a
women.
classic, yeah.
So I love the fragrance. I love how light it is, how nostalgic it is with
Yeah.
like old school powdery smell.
Yes.
But one thing that I've noticed, it doesn't stay on my skin.
Yeah.
And I never got this answer, and I was always thinking and wondering that why is this happening with me? I was never able to figure out. But then right now when you mentioned this part that it depends of how oily, how dry, how it's
Yeah.
reacting, I believe that could be one of the reasons that specific perfume is not staying
with you, yeah.
yeah, with you. So I have to like often keep on refreshing myself when I have that. So I'm like, whenever I have to go for 1 or 2 hours even, I preferably use it. But I really love the fragrance.
I know.
But now I have
But
the
you know,
answer.
number 5 doesn't smell nice on me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It doesn't. It's not my fragrance. Like, I used to have a bottle, I gifted it to someone because it just wouldn't go
Okay.
with me. So
Wow. What was it with you?
I don't know. It just smelled really weird after a couple of hours.
That's so interesting.
So-
I know it's a science completely.
I know. So it perfumes are very, very, like, I know this because we did a small perfume course in Fragonard in Paris during my studies in Milan. So we had a small capsule on perfumes. So that's when I learned about this, and it's so important.
When we apply perfume, so many times it happens we put it too close, or we just put it like a lot of sprays. So what is that, like the ideal distance, or I would say the optimum distance with which you should spray?
So if you're using eau de toilette,
Okay.
plus everywhere, even on your clothes, is
Okay.
fine because it evaporates. But if you're using eau de parfum, which is your perfume,
Yeah.
you need to just one drop here, like just leave about this much space, about the space of your palm. Just spray. Make sure it's focused on your
Pulse.
pressure points, your pulse points. So here, 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 here. Do not spray here and here. Why? Because there are sweat glands here,
Okay.
which will make it smell sour.
Combined with the sweat.
Yeah. So don't spray here and here. Here, here, maybe in the center where you have the throbbing sensation over there. And then if you're wearing a short dress, always spray behind your knees.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because when you walk, the movement of the dress will ventilate and spread the fragrance around. So it leaves a lasting impression.
As you pass by. That's a very strong, I think, handy tip that you shared, especially in the different type of consistencies. So yeah, that is something which is really helpful for everyone out there who love fragrances and really want them to last longer. So yeah, I think fragrances is another new topic which I am very interested about. I mean, I never thought we are going to speak this much about fragrance, but then I just went into it when you were speaking. So when we start into the luxury, especially when we are stepping into what happens, we get intimidated and we just go on, buying the, the bolder pieces, or, the pieces that are just screaming the brand's name. It happens most of the times, right? So, how to kind of stop yourself from doing that and maybe have that eye of detailing of, what should I pick?
So it depends a lot. So why are you buying that brand? Are you buying that brand just because you want to show people you're wearing that brand? Then go for it. Go for highlighting it all over yourself. But if you're buying it for yourself, if you're buying it to elevate your look, then combining a print on print on print is not a good idea. My clothes never have a monogram on it. Most of the times I don't have monograms on my clothes because I don't dress to show people I'm wearing Dior or Gucci or whatever. I don't wear Dior and Gucci clothes. It's not my thing. But some people do. Some people want to show that they are wearing, the big ass Gucci in the front or a Hackett in the front. Yeah. So my 2 cents on this would be, do it if you're wearing it to show others, or you are an endorser. If you are the reason why most of our inspiration for luxury brands comes from seeing celebrities. So because we see Ranveer Singh wearing Gucci all over him, we get inspired to wear Gucci all over us. But Ranveer Singh is wearing Gucci all over him because Gucci has paid him to do that.
Yeah.
He needs to endorse that brand. So are you endorsing that brand? Are you a brand ambassador? Then go for it. Are you wearing to show people that, oh look, I've got money and I'm wearing a Gucci jacket? Go for it. Is your aesthetics that you want to wear the print all over? Is that your aesthetic? Because some people have that very eccentric, flamboyant aesthetic. Okay, then go for it. But if you don't fit into any of these categories, then maybe think about dressing for yourself. That's why I think the help of an image consultant comes into the picture, because you can help them identify the intention behind wearing a piece like that. So you need to ask them these questions like, are you wearing this to show me, or are you wearing this to show yourself? Which is it? If it's just for yourself, then why do you need to wear an inside-out t-shirt where Gucci is written in the front?
Yeah.
Because when you're wearing something high-end, it shows. You don't have to have the logo to know that it's a high-end, because the fabric shows, the draping shows, the color palette shows. So when someone wears a very expensive dress, I'm sure no one will turn around and say, oh, this looks cheap.
Yeah.
And if you see celebrities who are apart from their Instagram posts, if you just see how they walk around, they never wear monogrammed or branded or over-the-top clothes. Even Karan Johar, when he is not on his TV show, if you see his videos when he's outside, he's wearing a black leather jacket and a black t-shirt. You will never see him out and about parading like a parrot, So I think it's very important to identify why you're wearing a piece like that.
The intent behind it.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's very important to kind of align your style, your pieces, your outfits with the intent that you're going into. And it's totally fine to be bold or to be subtle. It's just that what's your intent is. So yeah, I think we have a very good handy guide on that too now.
Exactly.
Of what you are, and then go for this.
Exactly.
So that's really, there's one, I would say it's more like a myth, Ayushi, which I think is, people sometimes say that the luxury brands are just splurging money out of people, but I really understand this fact that there is refinement, there's craftsmanship that goes behind it. So you being a consumer of luxury pieces, especially, so what is your experience about the touch, the feel, the refinement, the craftsmanship on those? Like a very brief, what do you feel?
I think when you're buying into a big brand, you're buying into a story, you're buying into a piece of history. When you're buying something like Zara, which is fast fashion, there's no history, there is no story behind it. You're not buying into the brand. Zara doesn't care about you. When you buy a belt from Gucci, Gucci cares about you. Gucci will call you every time there's a new belt because you're bought into the story of Gucci. Gucci has a history, Dior has history, Chanel has history. These are brands that have pioneered the fashion industry into a certain direction, and when you're buying into them, you're kind of buying into that pioneering movement, and they continue to pioneer. Zara survives because Gucci, Dior, and Louis Vuitton, they come up with pieces and then they make knockoffs. So that's why they are still the ones who are making the movement. So when I buy something from one of these brands, I feel like I'm buying into that story. I feel like I'm buying into fashion as an industry. I don't feel like I'm just another face in the crowd. I know that the piece I have is one of few, if not the only one, But when I buy from Zara, I know the chances of me bumping into someone wearing the same thing is very high.
Yeah. That sense of exclusivity and
exactly.
And the refinement. Yeah, of course, that has to do a lot with your self-worth. Again, we come back to the same square one where we were talking about initially, that it's a lot about your self-worth, I would say self-satisfaction to a lot of extent.
But when you wear something that's designer, you feel like, oh, ये तो मेरे लिए ही बना है बिल्कुल. You feel like you're in a mold and it was made for you.
And that feeling is very special.
And that feeling is so nice because the way it looks on you, it doesn't look on anyone else. So you feel very special. You feel like this is my style. It's stitched for me. It's oh my God,
Yeah.
That's
that
how
wow
you
factor.
feel.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's the same psychology. Why when a bride, she wears her lehenga, why doesn't she buy a ready-made lehenga and just wear it? She always custom fits it because when you are on your wedding day, you want to feel like the world is for you.
Yes.
So you customize it, you make the flare as per how much you want the flare, you make the veil as per how much you want the veil to go, you make the blouse, sleeves and everything, the cleavage as per you.
Yeah.
So that feeling that you want on your bridal day, some people want it every day. So when you are wearing a dress, I don't want to feel like, oh, if I step out, am I going to bump into someone wearing the same clothes? And by the way, you can feel that exclusivity even if you buy from Zara. How? Go buy from Zara Spain, you'll feel the same exclusivity when you come back to India because you know that no one in India has that piece.
Yeah. It's being ahead.
So it's not just about buying from a luxury brand. It's about buying something that no one else has. So
I think that's also a point where it's very important to now, again, that point comes in the picture that it's so important to know who you are, what you want to represent, what's your intent is, and what's your personality is. So everything really comes back to the same point again and again of knowing your intent, as clear as possible to align better with what your inner feeling is regarding your image. So okay, that's interesting. That's actually interesting, that fact I totally agree that since some places are really ahead in fashion, so getting a piece from there, here you might get it, maybe you never get it,
Yeah.
or you get it sometime later. So that's something like a smart idea, I would
Yeah.
say. So all those who are traveling, just get some pieces.
Yeah,
And
exactly. Get
the
pieces from mass
exclusivity.
brands
Yeah.
from there, So
That's a very smart handy tip, I must say. Okay, so with this, I believe we kind of wrap up with like a beautiful session with Ayushi, where we, drill down towards what luxury is, the psychology behind it, how she stepped into it, what we can take care of, and along those, we spoke a lot about the personality, the intent, how important the versatile pieces are, a lot on the perfume, and we got a lot of tips and guidance on the same. So I'm sure that's going to be really helpful. Let's now wrap this up and end this session with a quick rapid fire, which we are gonna take from Ayushi, and that's gonna be more about her and the choices that she
And
has
do we
made.
have a coffee hamper or?
I have a little something for you. Definitely. So, okay. So my first question goes: first luxury item you ever bought,
A Chanel lipstick.
and that was when?
That was when I was interning with Chanel in Paris. It was not an internship, actually. It was just a study project.
Uh-huh.
So when I was doing that with Chanel, I bought the Chanel lipstick.
That's special.
Yeah, I mean,
that
that's...
piece is-
And I don't even use it. Like, it's still there.
Wow.
Because I remember I went out, it was 30 euros. And 30 euros today, when I calculate, okay, 3,000 rupees, it's not much. But for me, it was a lot.
Of course, yeah, at the
When
time.
you're a student and you're not really making any money, every penny counts. So I remember I used to give tuitions to Italian kids to help them learn English, and in the process I used to learn a bit of Italian as well. So that's the money I made, and I went and spent maybe 1 hour of teaching money
Wow,
on
that needs a clap.
on that lipstick.
beautiful.
So it's still there.
Yeah.
I use it, but very sparingly. So
That's a reward.
like with a brush and yeah.
Style icon you would rate the wardrobe of,
Princess Diana.
and anything specific about it?
Oh my god, I love her dresses. I mean, the revenge dress, everyone knows the black dress. That's one of the classics. I've tried to find knockoffs, but I haven't found it. I have managed to secure one piece from Princess Diana's wardrobe, which is the Lady Dior bag.
Ooh.
The mini. I just bought it from Paris, so it's
Do
going
share a picture with us. We would love to see you
in
beautifully.
the pink mini Dior. I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, I'm sure. And that's like one of your style icons you would
Yeah,
love to
exactly.
So you have already kind of not rated, but at least had
Kind
some,
of
yeah.
had, yeah. Next up is her jewels.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. They are so elegant.
Yeah.
So elegant. Okay, one word that defines luxury for you.
Exclusivity. Sure.
A fashion brand you would never try.
Dolce and Gabbana.
Okay,
just-
yeah.
And Balenciaga. I mean, these are not my...
Your personality. Yeah. If luxury had a scent, like a fragrance, what would it smell like?
Like I mentioned, I mean, something that I really love is a Louis Vuitton fragrance, which has an oud and a rose undertone. I'm forgetting the name. But it's a black bottle, and it's a wonderful fragrance. If you just walk into any Louis Vuitton store and ask for it, it's just a rose and an oud.
Okay, we
base.
know the combination.
Yeah, they have only one piece like that, so it's
Okay.
really, really unique.
I'm gonna try that for sure.
Yeah, but it's a winter fragrance. Don't
Yeah.
try it in the summer. It's too heavy for summers. But in the winters, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, a color that makes you feel powerful anytime.
I think white and beige.
Oh, we can see that.
Both colors are pairing today.
Yeah, and they compliment you actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think white and beige are and maybe midnight blue. That's another color that I really like.
The power color for you.
Yeah.
Colors play an important role in everything that you do.
Yeah.
Okay, wardrobe must-have that instantly elevates any look, according to
Belts.
you. Belts. Yeah, of course.
Belts.
That's how our conversation started.
Yeah.
Okay, one luxury myth you would want to bust.
That you need to have monograms all over your outfit. You don't need monograms.
Okay, we get that. Dopamine dressing in one word for you.
I think it's just confidence for me.
Beautiful.
Feeling confident.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful because, yeah, if you're confident, you can win the world.
Yeah.
That's so true. Last thing you added to your dream wardrobe board, like your vision board.
The mini Dior.
Ah, yeah. Why not? So
The lady Dior.
beautifully answered. Beautifully. I believe all the answers were not just your story, but it explains a lot of, like, it gives a lot of takeaways as a human for us of why certain things and why not certain things, and why few things are special and they always remain with you, like the lipstick that you Chanel lipstick that you mentioned. So I believe I enjoyed this rapid fire with you. So
Thank you.
I have a little something for you. I told you, I was like, what else, because you're traveling, I was not able to get, so I just thought of getting this travel kit for you.
Oh, thank
which
you.
would be something,
That would be very handy.
yeah, this is something which is for you to kind of help you with your travels.
Thank you so much. Oh,
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah, this
Thank
is
you.
doing pretty good these days.
Yeah, I mean, I always carry my entire bathroom, so now it'll be
Yeah, it's
nice
pretty
to have
handy.
these.
Yeah. Thank you.